Thank you. And welcome to any members of the public that are watching via the live stream. We're not too sure if Francois will be joining us via Zoom. So at this stage, the meeting declared open. Do we have any apologies? Just Francois at the moment. And if he's on Zoom, we'll have him at that stage. So can I just have somebody move a second, accept the fact that Francois at the moment is unavailable. Thank you, Councillor Beard and Councillor Neal. All in favour of accepting that?
Aye.
Thank you. Declarations of interest is on Teams, so if you've got anything to add to that, please enter Teams and then advise Di or Susie accordingly of any additions, please. We're here today for the to adopt the draft annual report from 2021 to 2022. And as we are a new council, and this is from the previous financial year, and council will be receiving the report as opposed to approving the report. So Leslie's not presenting. Lindley's presenting, so thank you, Lindley, and welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
Good afternoon,
Your worship, and good afternoon, councillors. So Emma and I present the annual report for 2021-22. A draft version was provided in the agenda and an updated version has been tabled. Now there are two potential minor updates. One is the date of the royal assent for Three Waters, which is yet to be confirmed. And the second one is the note on investments, which relates to a group only, and we need to provide the method of valuation. I'll take it as read, and through your worship, I'll accept any questions.
Through your worship, I've only read a week.
You only read what, sorry?
I haven't read it all, as in the report that's come today.
Oh, there's not much difference between this one and that one.
Oh, okay.
When you say much difference,
But really it's the wording and disclosures, nothing in the numbers.
right?
Well, yeah, I just have one question. Is there anything in the report that we should be concerned about? Thank you.
Through your worship, can just only comment on the service delivery level. We don't seem to be meeting target on certain areas of service delivery for that period. How are we tracking going forward?
May I, through your worship, redirect that question?
Yes.
Suppose it better be what areas first.
The important one is probably page 18. Oh, sorry, page 25.
Although page 18 was also relevant to your question, I think, Steve. You talked about KPIs for service communities. Maybe Emma could talk to that, because Emma has been
Just the sorry, resilient communities, the 29% satisfaction.
Yeah,
Just-
maybe Emma could talk to that, because Emma has been collating that information with the financials.
I'm sorry, the sound broke up. What page number are we looking at?
Just on page 25, Emma. I think it just seems to be a sort of a theme that we're not nailing is the community engagement. The satisfaction level is still pretty low.
our target's 65 and we're only reaching 29. So
Yes, I agree with that, it's not as we would like it to be. It is that it's quite a difficult target to achieve, to have the community feel that we have engaged with them. We do try, obviously, to make sure that there are as many opportunities for the community to engage. The resident satisfaction survey was done as an online survey for many of the responses this year, as well as the phone survey. Unfortunately, most of the residents' satisfaction was lower for this particular resident satisfaction survey. We've been combating things like COVID, and this was something that many councils around the country also experienced, that their satisfaction ratings were a lot lower. And of course, we would like to improve that.
Sorry, through the chair. The other note I just picked up was to do with on page 28, to do with CCOs. I just wonder if someone could clarify. That looks like the CCOs didn't achieve their SOIs, performance measures.
Yes, so the CCOs have individual statements of intent that are updated each year. And the reason why this is a general measure is because the CCO's statements of intent sometimes change slightly. So we didn't want every single measure in the statement of intent within our long-term plan, because when the CCO changes their measure, it isn't reflected within our long-term plan. So there were West Roads, I believe, met all of theirs. There was a couple of financial measures that they didn't meet, but those are reported in the individual CCO's annual reports.
Just to reinforce that through the chair, so both CCOs, all three CCOs, have about 10 KPIs within the statement of intent. It only requires one to miss for it to be not achieved based on this measure, which basically says all performance measures are achieved. So that's, and if you have a look at the statement of intents from that financial year, you'll see those relevant KPIs that were missed. Once again, the CCOs will be workshopping the statement of intent with council in February next year.
Thank you. Through your worship, going back to the residents' actual dissatisfaction survey, just trying to remember from earlier in the year, it was a poor result, and that was well canvassed. But we did have a discussion about how we were going to improve that, and there was going to be some meeting. I thought we were going to meet to workshop perhaps, or how we were going to improve this.
You are correct. We were obviously waiting for new council to come on board to discuss that further. So that, I suppose, the annual plan process will be one of those discussion points within that process, because there may be budgetary constraints that are required to meet a higher level of service.
And also, just to answer the question before, was there anything that we ought to be concerned about? The answer is yes, in my view, and that is page 88, which is the rates affordability. And secondly, the level of debt, I think, is becoming of escalated concern. And we've got the, I think it's on page 89, the debts.
Debts 88.
89, the debt graphs. Yeah, and so the debt per property was up until it was also $3,911 per property, which was only $89 short of the max amount. Then it was lifted by to $4,500 per property. But even so, it's a big warning bell, really. And I think it's timely to look at that, and we've talked about this previously, but the spending splurge has got to stop. And I know that's for a discussion for another day, but this highlights it. It's a stark as to where the debt is at. Can't, just like the government has found now, we didn't spend it during COVID. You can't just keep spending because they were doing printing money without repercussions. On the positive side, negative, is the, I don't have page numbers, sorry, but the huge lifting in external funding. That took a lot of effort on part of the chief executive, and so I do acknowledge that.
Thank you, Paul, for that. And I think that Paul's comments on the debt and the rating value per property where it averages out is sort of a very cold, harsh reality to us all on the task we've got ahead of us in this forthcoming financial year as far as legal plan and budgets and what we need to do going forward. There's going to be quite a bit of intensive work having to be done on reviewing and potential communication with the wider communities out there as we move forward with that as well. Yeah. Sorry, Councillor Neil.
Yeah, page 18, overall overview of council performance. Understand just talk to that, please, regarding the measures that weren't achieved, especially the mandatory ones. Emma, could you talk about KPIs, please?
Aside, were there any ones in particular aside from the mandatory ones that you wanted to ask about?
Well, particularly the mandatory ones, because they're the ones that we're meant to have done, aren't they? So the ones that weren't achieved.
I'm not really sure what you're asking.
Do you want to run through every KPI for each of those?
No, but just a general view as to why there's so many that we've achieved. Or am I reading this wrong?
So,
no, page 18.
Overview of council performance. We achieved 37% of the measures, 24 of 64. Yeah. We didn't achieve 58%.
So a lot of the KPIs are based on the resident satisfaction survey. And as I mentioned earlier, we did not achieve as well in the resident satisfaction survey as we would have hoped. So that is why there are many KPIs that have not been achieved. I would say that's the majority that have not been achieved are the ones which are the resident satisfaction survey.
Thank you.
Can I ask, Emma, was there a common thread in the dissatisfaction?
Yes, as I mentioned, issues stemming from COVID-19, things around things like the office being closed, the library and the requirements for vaccine passes. There is generally dissatisfaction that people feel like they're not receiving the services that they would expect to receive for their rates.
And that comment is still applicable within COVID situation, not in general?
So that is more general. That tends to be a sort of a thread that comes through whenever we do a resident survey, that there is that dissatisfaction that people feel that we don't serve them as well as they would like.
Do we ever ask them where they see this, you know, have we ever been serious with this and said, right, well, where are these shortfalls? Where are these gaps where we aren't delivering to you?
Yes, so each area where the resident survey surveys people, it does have that open question that people can provide that sort of information, and the survey itself and the information is available on our website, and I can also circulate that to the councillors after this meeting if you would like to see it.
And that'll give us a feedback on the response to that particular question.
Sorry?
That will give us a better indication to that specific question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to note the question that one of the Florist results was actually the governance. Satisfaction survey. I think it would be really beneficial for the councillors to be able to have all of the results together, and they're going to come back to us as the executive says to workshop that improvements. A lot of room for improvement.
Regardless of that, whether it was this council or the previous council, we have to take that on board and make sure that we balance that off as well. So appreciate that comment. Does anybody have any further questions? Nobody? Well, if there's no further questions to the report, can I have somebody please move and second that the report be received and that we adopt the annual report for the previous financial year, subject to the possible minor administrative changes that have been made? Thank you, Councillor. Second. Somebody? Second.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Thank you very much for that.
Just through the chair, I just want to thank my team. Hours and hours and hours of work goes into these reports and annual plans and LTPs, but obviously particularly the finance team and Emma pulling the report together. It's a lot of cajoling, a lot of effort to get the numbers right, and obviously a lot of back and forth between audit and our final results. Once again, very last minute, and COVID unfortunately played a major part in the last 18 months in terms of impact on council. 100% agree that our performance over the last year around engagement needs to improve. We did have a long discussion with the last council about how we will go about starting that process. And I think it's quite pertinent that this council understands to raise the level of engagement, so requires resources to do so, and there's an impact on that in terms of budgets as well. So thanks again, team, and well done, Lindley, Leslie, Emma, and the rest of your team for doing that.
Sorry, through her worship, what are the administrative changes that we're saying we're subject to still? Any more?
Yeah, there's a disclosure note under investment property, and they want us to add in what the valuation method is. We don't know because we don't value it. It's the destination license. We've got to get that information from them. So once we get that, that will just be added in what the valuation technique is.
And that's the extent of changes to come.
Sorry.
There's no further changes
There's
outside that.
another one, which is to add in the date with when we sent the water bill, but it's not been published yet. But it will change the wording on that note. Won't change any numbers, it's just the notes saying it's happened.
Yeah, I do understand we're the first council to get
On the West Coast.
the West Coast to get a plan finished and a report.
I think the others are pretty close to being on the other side, aren't they? So. Right, so yes, that's that is the end of the reports for today's meeting. So with that, if there's no other matters to arise from that report, I'll declare the meeting closed at 3:50, sorry. 10 minutes.